awaited start of conference play for the FIU Panthers comes now from the Ocean Bank Convocation Center in Miami. It was supposed to be a week ago, but it's right now against Western Kentucky, and it's coming to you live on CUSA TV. Happy to have you along, everyone. Corey Brooks and Patrick Murray on the call for you here this afternoon. Patrick, it was supposed to be Old Dominion. It was supposed to be Charlotte. Now we see it today. It's Western Kentucky and FIU to finally start CUSA play.
Finally, conference play getting going. FIU's been looking forward to it for a long time. Had to schedule an NAIA opponent in Ave Maria for a couple games just to get back in the flow of things, but now finally getting into conference play.
Hopefully the wait makes it that much sweeter. Let's dive in and talk about that Ave Maria game. FIU, incredible in the first game, fought in the second game. Two good ones for the Panthers.
Yeah, FIU got back to its identity. 3-and-D, shooting threes, playing tough defense. The Panthers forced 62 turnovers in those two games against Ave Maria, and leading scorer Kyla Nelson got going again. She was 6 of 9 from three-point land in Monday's game.
The super senior for FIU, incredibly important in every game. She's the go-to offensive player. And speaking of dynamic scorers, on the flip side for these Hilltoppers, they've got one of the best you'll find in this conference.
Meryl Abdelgawad, the senior from Cairo, Egypt, leading the way for Western Kentucky. She's second in the conference in scoring, averaging 19.4 points per game. She put up 36 a couple games ago against Southern Miss. Western Kentucky's 2-0 in conference play, and Abdelgawad is a big reason for that. Keep an eye on number 4 for Western Kentucky today.
We'll be saying her name a whole lot for these Hilltoppers of WKU. It's the start of CUSA play. We'll step aside for the first time here on CUSA TV. On the other side, we'll give you the opening 10 for both Western Kentucky and the FIU Panthers. And then it is CUSA time here from Miami. It's the start of a home run for FIU. How does it begin? A win and a continuing of the tremendous start for FIU, or does WKU keep their momentum going? Find out together on the other side right here on CUSA TV. Jerseys to begin conference play for the FIU Panthers. Opening 5 for the hometown squad. Rocky Ferrer-Bernard getting the start at guard. You see the starting center there in Maria Torres, along with Ariel Colon, Emerald Ekpateta, and Kyla Nelson. For Western Kentucky, it's Alexis Mead, Meryl Abdelgawad, Maya Meredith, Macy Blevins, and Jason Foster. Tip up, and CUSA comes to Miami. It's been a wait, and it's going to be another few seconds.
That's fitting.
A perfect summation of the last week. Both conference matches scheduled, unable to be played for FIU. The Panthers didn't play in their own tournament that they hosted here in the 305. They take the floor now against Western Kentucky. Quick three right out of the gate for Blevins. It's good. Western Kentucky, one of the best three-point shooting teams in CUSA.
The Hilltoppers have been really hot from downtown in their first two conference games. 41% from three-point land in those two games, and they made 11 threes in each of those two. They're getting started early here as you see Abdelgawad finding the open player on the wing, and FIU was just sagging back, not expecting him to take a quick three.
It's not so often you see a leading scorer who can also pass like Abdelgawad, but she's second on this team in assists. Does a really nice job whether she's got the ball in her hand or not.
And she can crash the glass and pull down some rebounds too.
So here's Tanasia Hayes. Rocky scheduled to start, but Tanasia Hayes into the game 30 seconds in. Cologne to answer. Not this time. Both of these teams mirror images of each other in that way. They love to shoot the three ball.
Two of the top 3 teams in the conference in terms of three-point attempts.
Skip pass from Blevins, finding an open Meredith. Had the right idea. First post touch for Torres. She spins and is fouled.
Now that'll work for FIU. Torres attacking the basket and drawing the foul. She had a season-high 12 points in her last game, shot 5 of 7 from the field, so she's getting going at the right time for FIU. And Western Kentucky tried to steal that pass, and that gave Torres a little bit of extra space to operate down low and draw that foul.
Maria has made herself a mainstay in this lineup for FIU. Starting the last 4 games, she has outright won the post job for Jessica Burks-Wiley, who you saw right there. A perfect 2 of 2 for Torres. Point guard Alexis Mead. Blevins not utilizing the screen. 7 on the shot clock. FIU putting together a good defensive possession. Can they finish it? No. Strong take by Abdelgawad.
Good help defense from Torres getting over to get in front of Abdelgawad, but she's just so good operating in traffic. She's still able to hit the shot.
The reigning Conference USA Player of the Week coming off a double-double against Louisiana Tech. Tanasia Hayes, the kick. Ekpeteta to Cologne. And FIU shows patience with a strong closeout by Alexis Mead. Pump fake. Got him.
Nice move by Cologne with that pump fake, getting Foster up in the air and then moving up into the open space to get the open shot.
Abdelgawad to a waiting Nelson, doesn't matter. Meryl Abdelgawad consistently finds a way.
And FIU is doing a lot with its help defense and rotating over to make sure they try to stop those drives from Abdelgawad, and she's still just hitting shots over multiple defenders.
Meryl's averaging nearly 30 points in the month of December, so she has been really strong to end last year, and it's translated here over the course of 2022. Nelson, FIU's top 3-point shooter, is off the mark. Taps her chest, my bad.
Yeah, she knows that wasn't the best shot selection. Good defense from Meredith. And here you see that shot from Cologne from earlier, creating some space with the ball fake.
You mentioned Maria Torres becoming a staple in the starting lineup. Ariel Cologne has done the same. Didn't start any until the last 2. Torres leading the break, and a misplay by FIU, saved by Tanasia Hayes. Still plenty of time on the shot clock. Ekpeteta. Knocked away by Mead. Again, the save for Tanasia. Not so much time left on that shot clock. Kyla, time and space. Scrum, that's last touch by Western. They saved it. How about the effort by Maya Meredith?
Now Western Kentucky is very active defensively, rotating around a lot.
Just a mental miscue from Western Kentucky. Alexis Mead taking too long to get across the timeline.
Yeah, after that defensive possession, Western Kentucky kind of took a while to gather up the ball, and that took some seconds away early in that 10-second clock, and they kind of forgot about it and took their time coming up the court.
FIU catches a break. Trying to inch closer. With the Western team shooting 75% in the first few minutes of this contest. Hayes offline, Panther possession.
Western Kentucky's bigs, especially Jalen Foster, have been doing a good job with their help defense and negating some of those drives from FIU.
Jalen Foster, one of the true freshmen, 7 newcomers for this Western team. Another mirroring storyline for FIU and Western Kentucky. A lot of new faces with a ton of players leaving from last year's season. Abdelgawad guarded by Hayes. Foul on Tanasia Hayes.
And Western Kentucky lost one of the best players in Conference USA last year, Raneem El-Jadawi, the center, fellow Egyptian, along with Meryl Abdelgawad. And El-Jadawi's playing pro ball in Egypt now. That was one big loss for Western Kentucky, but they've picked things up with a crew of good freshmen and Abdelgawad stepping into the star role.
Just like that, Abdelgawad smooth to the basket again. When Meryl first came to Western Kentucky, she mentioned it was incredibly important to already have a translator, both literally and figuratively, and it has made her ability to integrate into Bowling Green and this Western Kentucky team that much easier. Torres off the pick and roll. A bit short, Maria's second chance. Leading to a third, Emerald Ekpateta for two.
Some tough play down low from Torres and Ekpateta, just battling for those rebounds, getting those second and third chances.
Emerald dominated that second game against Ave Maria. Nice pass, but too many steps for Jalen Foster. That brings us under 5, 9-6. Western Kentucky battling, but it's FIU thriving underneath. Tremendous pedigree for this FIU team. The Panthers looking to get back to that form. They're starting to find a little bit. This FIU team, 8-3, their best start in 15 years, hoping to reach those lofty heights in the rafters here at the bank.
And Jessica Burks-Wiley in her first season last year took FIU to its first winning season since Cindy Russo was the head coach back in 2013. So trying to keep that up with some more history in year 2.
Games mean a whole lot more starting today. The beginning of CUSA play. Takeaway by Jalen Foster initiates the WKU transition. Blevins fouled by Colon.
Panther foul on number 32.
Western Kentucky is a program with a lot of history as well. Went to 3 Final Fours back in the day and were the national runner-up in 1992. Lost to Stanford in the national championship game. So a couple of proud programs with some good history.
Even recently for Western Kentucky, it's gone well. They've got 5 Conference USA titles since joining CUSA. Nobody's won more in that time frame. The Western Kentucky women's programs, between this team and volleyball, they do very well for themselves in Bowling Green. Abdelgawad attacking and an offensive foul on Merrill Abdelgawad.
A nice play there by Rocky Ferrer-Bernard, going against a much bigger Abdelgawad and taking that charge. And there you see her, number 1, just getting in position, taking that contact. And they've had a hard time stopping Abdelgawad on drives. That's one way to stop her, is take that charge.
So many newcomers on this FIU team. The experience that Rocky brings, so important. Speaking of newcomers, Zeta Gonzalez onto the floor for FIU. Olivia Trice and Hope Butera, the new Panthers, with a chance to get into the action. Zeta lay-in and a whistle. 2 free throws for Zeta Gonzalez.
Early in the game, FIU was trying to get the outside shots up. They seem to have changed up the strategy now, and the Panthers are trying to attack the paint, and it's starting to work at least with getting to the free throw line and creating points that way.
That's a pretty clear message from Jessica Burks-Wiley. I think you're dead on. You bring in Zeta Gonzalez, whose best skill set is cutting, and the height of Butera. FIU wants to try and make their hay underneath. Here's the second for Zeta. 1 of 2. The call from that bench was shooter coming in. That shooter is Jenna Walker. 32% from downtown. Hasn't taken a whole lot of them, but a dynamic true freshman, the very first commit for WKU in their 2021 class.
And Western Kentucky's rotation may look a little different today. Hope Savori out, Teresa Faustino, Selma Kulo all out for the Hilltoppers today.
Savori 7 points a game. The starting point guard last year has moved into more of a shooting guard role this year because of the emergence of Alexis Mead. We've seen that for Western Kentucky across the board. They had a completely different starting lineup in the first 4 games. It's changed in a big way. Players like Blevins and Mead stepping in and getting a ton of minutes.
Now, Western Kentucky was a very young team last season, young again this year, and so it takes a while to figure out how you want that rotation to be as you start to learn the strengths and weaknesses of some of your young players.
We love that the young players have stepped up, though, and played well for Western Kentucky, certainly amidst this 4-game winning streak. Here's Zeta Gonzalez, a youngster that FIU hopes to turn into wild success. And Rocky initiates the play for FIU. Final few minutes here of this first quarter. Offense at a premium. Western Kentucky. Pick it up. Whistle against Kyla Nelson on a moving screen.
Yeah, I didn't see what Nelson did, and she's not pleased with that call. Wanted an explanation from the official. We'll see if we can see it here. And Nelson just battling down low with Alexis Mead, and it seemed like just two players battling for position. But Nelson gets the call.
Western catches a break. 3 turnovers for FIU. Western does have more, though, by 1. It's 4. Mead picked up way up top. Good pressure by Zeta Gonzalez. Mead, ISO the entire way for 2.
Good recovery by Mead, because Gonzalez was playing some tough defense on her, but Mead was able to recover and use her speed to get into the paint.
It's funny how young players develop. Mead took over that point guard role when Greg Collins brought her in. Said she was a pass-first point guard. Really wanted to use that distribution ability. Alexis Mead is averaging 11 points a game. It is not necessarily pass-first for the dynamic freshman guard.
Yeah, over the course of the season, she's really figured out how to attack and help her team out by scoring and not just passing.
FIU has to avoid that. Over the head of Kyla Nelson.
Here's Mead with the speed and the ball handling skills, maneuvering her way around Gonzalez to find an open shot in the paint.
Rocky off the floor for the first time. It's the dual point guard set of Zeta and Tanasia that we saw for the grand majority of non-conference play. Zeta, chance for the takeaway. Gonzalez scrapping, whistle, jump ball. Possession arrow favors the Panthers.
Well, nice play by the freshman Gonzalez, being aggressive defensively, forcing that turnover. And FIU, even the Panthers are shooting 22% from the field, and Western Kentucky shooting 75%, but FIU's still in this because they've been playing tough on defense and on the boards and finding a way to create extra possessions.
You got to look at Greg Collins there, the 4th-year head coach for WKU, 4 conference titles the last 8 years. He gets credit for those as well because he was an assistant coach for 6 seasons for WKU before taking over as the head man in BG. Hilltoppers looking for points off the turnover once again. Second chance, no. A 3rd opportunity is not forthcoming because of the efforts of Emerald Ekpateta.
Good box out by Ekpateta and forcing McBride to try to go over the top and drawing the foul.
4 fouls on Western. Bears keeping an eye on here in the final 64 seconds. Perhaps makes FIU that much more aggressive to close out this opening stanza. Trice over in that corner. Hasn't taken a shot yet, has Liv Trice. About 5 minutes played here in this quarter. Hayes right into Abdel Gawad, tied up, and that arrow goes right back to the Hilltoppers.
Yeah, FIU's been getting sloppy with the basketball in the offensive end. 5 turnovers in the last 3.5 minutes or so. FIU's going to need to clean that up.
We're at 3, now it's 6, to your point. A frustrating end to the quarter for Jessica Burks-Wiley's team, but still just a 6-point game. Walker got by Hayes and converts.
Really nice move by Walker. She got up in the air, acted like she was going to throw the pass into the corner, and got her defender going the wrong direction and went to the lane.
Jenna Walker scoreless in 3 of the last 4 games, but held without points no longer here in Miami. Hayes looking for help. Tried to find Zeta. Panther possession.
FIU has to be aware of the clock here. Only 5 seconds left. Don't have to shoot it right away, but you got to be aware that 1 or 2 passes, and then you got to be looking for a shot.
WKU, seeing it's a defensive-only possession, brings in Jordan Smith. Hayes will not see her pass put up. Trice actually put it online there at the end, but it clangs off. Western Kentucky closes the book on the first with a strong run. FIU hasn't scored in a few minutes. Western Kentucky 15, FIU 7, one down here at the bank. Rory watching on, hoping his squad gets going here in the second. Western by 8. Corey Brooks, Patrick Murray, along with our entire crew here on CUSA TV. Ekpateta will take the first shot of the second, and she charged.
A good defense there by Gabby McBride. Western Kentucky in the 2-3 zone. McBride protecting the rim, and she stood tall. 42 in white. You see her come over and just stonewall that drive from Ekpateta.
Abdel Gawad tried to control the speed of it. Instead, here's McBride on the offensive end, barely got out of the trap. Lay-in, friendly roll for Jenna Walker.
Yeah, FIU's bench was yelling shooter when Walker came in, but she's looked really good on a couple of drives to the basket so far today.
Rocky straight away. Oh, yes.
FIU needed that. Good ball movement, get the defense moving around. They finally get an open look from outside, and they knock down their first three-pointer of the day.
Fede Bernat hasn't taken a ton this season. That's just her 20th shot from 3. She's shooting about 50% though, so when it goes up, it's a safe bet. Abdel Gawad, guarded by Cologne, the whistle against AC.
So Ferrer Bernat does a nice job with her shot selection, and you see Western Kentucky trying to trap down near the baseline, and that left Ferrer Bernat open at the top of the key.
That's what FIU wants to do, stretch you out, make you make a mistake by overcommitting to a double or a trap, and utilize generally what's probably one of 4 shooters on the floor at any given time. Kyla Nelson does the job against Meryl Abdel-Gawad.
FIU has tried to use several different defenders against Abdel-Gawad today. Trying Kyla Nelson this time, and she has fared much better than anyone else. Did a really good job of staying in front of Abdel-Gawad and taking away the driving lane.
Have to imagine that's going to be the matchup for the foreseeable future. Each team's leading scorer going one-on-one. Kyla from the corner. Good.
Yeah, FIU finding its groove on the offensive end now. Penetrating with the dribble, drawing defenders, and getting open shooters on the outside. Kyla Nelson, the best shooter on this team.
Takeaway, Torres, Maria by herself. 2. A run for the FIU Panthers to make it a 2-point game.
An 8-0 run in just over a minute. Huge momentum swing for the Panthers.
Everything the end of the first quarter was not. Abdel-Gawad amidst 3 traveled.
Oh, everything going FIU's way now. Western Kentucky getting sloppy with the ball. Good awareness by Torres to finish on the fast break, capitalizing on the turnover, and a big run and momentum flip for FIU. And a big part of that is 3 turnovers for Western Kentucky in the last 2 minutes.
FIU looking to tie it up. It's Hayes. Fede Bernat thought about it. For the lead. No. Would have been the first time FIU was in front.
Another good open look for the Panthers, though. They're starting to look more cohesive on the offensive side.
Good closeout by Tanasia Hayes. Hayes flanked by Nelson. Pass didn't get through. Abdel-Gawad goes down. Jump favors Western Kentucky.
A little too aggressive from Hayes on the fast break. I like the fast pace and pushing it, but then she's got to pull it back once Western Kentucky has enough defenders back. She thought she still had the numbers and tried to make the pass, and it wasn't quite there.
Maya Meredith solo breaks the press. Good pressure by Nelson. And a takeaway for Fede Bernard. Tanasia Hayes in transition. No. Delgawad. Hacked.
Yeah, Torres charged with the foul there, but she at least prevents the easy layup in the fast break for Abdelgawad. And FIU has really stepped it up defensively with their pressure and making Western Kentucky uncomfortable with the basketball.
And so the only senior and only upperclassman for Greg Collins goes to the line. Nice year for her. In the free throw category, 69%. First one is good.
Abdelgawad had 29 points the last time these two teams met last year here in Miami. That was kind of a breakout game for her as she really emerged as a big-time player for Western Kentucky down the stretch of the season last year.
29 points, 7 assists, both career highs. Meryl Abdelgawad. The South Florida winter does her well. Torres. Big time for Maria Torres.
A really nice pass to set up Torres from Gonzalez, finding her teammate in the paint.
Zeta hasn't gotten that many opportunities for those. That's just her third assist of the season for the natural point guard, Zeta Gonzalez. Offensive against WKU.
Look at this pass here from Zero Gonzalez. The hard drive to the paint and the quick flip to Torres for the bucket.
That's the reason Zeta Gonzalez is in that FIU jersey. Jessica Burks-Wiley saying she's a Jet. They love her ability to find space, and that time she set up Maria Torres for a perfect lay-in. Tere Bernard.
Taking care of the basketball has been an issue for Western Kentucky. They had 29 turnovers in their last game against Louisiana Tech. We know FIU likes to bring the pressure and try and force those turnovers, so that's something to keep an eye on. It's been a problem for Western Kentucky in this second quarter.
WKU doing the job that time, though, as Maya Meredith hit the three. FIU had a couple more turnovers than the Tops in that first quarter. It swung the other way now, 10-8. Western Kentucky -2 in the turnover differential.
And the Hilltoppers haven't taken quite as many threes today as they usually do. They're top 3 in the conference in terms of attempted threes, and only 3 shots today from outside the arc.
The good news for Western Kentucky is they've hit the same number as FIU. 2 of 3 and 2 of 7 for the road team and the home squad, respectively. Underneath, whistle on Ekpiteta.
Well, nice play there from Meredith to set that up, getting to the middle of the floor against the press, breaking that press and making a nice pass to set up the foul.
Media timeout, both teams working underneath the basket here in Q2. Two free throws for Jalen Foster, the first of which is no good. Western Kentucky playing well here, though, leading by 5 amidst the 4-game winning streak. That's been important not only for this program, but for the community of WKU in general. Tornadoes hitting Bowling Green exceptionally hard in the early part of December, and sports for Western Kentucky University, really a rallying cry for that community. Both basketball teams and obviously the football team making some noise as well. One of those times where it's bigger than sports, but still sports.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you can spend some time at in the arena or in the football stadium and kind of take your mind off some of the other things going on. That's been important for that community, and we're certainly thinking about them and the tough times they've had to go through.
This team trying to be a beacon. They continue to do so here with that three good. On the other side of things, 23-20, the FIU lead. Western unable to answer, but they get another opportunity. Travel, outstanding defense by Kyla Nelson.
Yeah, really nice defense by Nelson, just standing her ground with her hands up, forcing that travel, and here's the three from Gonzalez, getting FIU within three.
Zeta had gotten off to a slow shooting start from outside, but she's been the epitome of perfection here in this game. 1 of 1. Good hands by Meredith. Maya Meredith out in front, leading the attack.
FIU was trying to create some space with a couple of ball screens, but Meredith did a good job of getting turned around and finding the basketball and creating points off of that turnover.
The Torres screen. Strong defense by Meredith again. 3 in the key. Nearly a clean shot for Liv Trice.
You got to make sure you're not spending too much time in the lane. There's that steal from Meredith, creating points off of the turnover. 9 points off of turnovers for Western Kentucky so far. It's been a big part of their game today.
That's par for the course for WKU. Second best stealing team in the conference. Final 3 of half one. Tough shot goes down for Maya Meredith.
And Meredith has really been playing well lately for Western Kentucky. The freshman, reigning Conference USA Freshman of the Week, had 24 points in their first conference game against Southern Miss. And she's starting to make some noise today, leading the way with 9 points for Western Kentucky.
You talk about being in good form. Double figures in her last 5 games, and 6 of the last 7. That is all you can ask for from a freshman. The polar opposite of a freshman for FIU, Kyla Nelson for 2. Quickly the other way, Trice has it.
Good job by Trice of sprinting back on defense, not only preventing the fast break, but getting the steal.
Western has their largest lead. Butera can't cut into it. Nelson, back and forth we go. Zeta taking baseline. Tough shot, Tanisha Hayes. Del Gawad receiving the long ball and converting.
Now, this is what Western Kentucky's trying to do now the last couple of possessions, is just get one player to sprint out into the offensive side of the court and try to get an easy bucket. It worked out that time.
Zeta Gonzalez fouled on her way in. Marilla Del Gawad into double figures already. 10 points on 4 of 4. It feels like FIU's done a decent job on her, Patrick, but she just finds a way.
Yeah, at least this quarter, FIU's been preventing her from getting the basketball, but she just finds a way to get open, or even when she's not open, she finds a way to get up a shot and is somehow 4 for 4 from the field.
One of those times you look at the stats and you go, wait, really? Feels like she had been frustrated at times, but that was a couple of turnovers. You look at those shots and 100%. Second from Zeta. Clangs off. Here's that leak out. It's Meredith. 2 more.
Yeah, FIU is going to have to be aware of that. We saw Torres do a good job of it the first time Western Kentucky tried to do it, but the last 2 times it's resulted in an easy layup for the Hilltoppers. So FIU is going to need to be aware of sprinting back on defense to prevent those leak outs.
Good scheming from Bowling Green right now. Is that squad doing well? Greg Collins and his coaching staff. Zeta Gonzalez. Good. Zeta Gonzalez having her best game.
And the Panthers have found a way to create some offense by driving the lane and then kicking out for open threes.
At 7 points against Ave Maria, Zeta Gonzalez has matched that total already. 2 of 2 from downtown. Meade cannot answer her fellow freshman guard.
Nice save there by Hayes. Really athletic play.
Zeta again. Almost got that leak out back against WKU. Pinball time here in Miami. Abdel Gawad. Hard, too hard.
Wow, tough play from Hayes. She was setting up to take the charge, and Abdel Gawad was coming down hard like a freight train. She says, all right, you want to take it? Here it comes. Let's see if you can stand your ground, and Hayes did it. It took that charge, and then Gonzalez on the previous possession knocking down the open three to keep FIU close.
Panthers can hold for the final shot. Hayes so valuable on the defensive end. That defense has traveled for Tanasia Hayes from North Carolina to down here in Miami. It's going to be Nelson. Just kind of ran out of time and had to rush it. For FIU, it's a 4-point deficit. It was at one point a 10-point lead for Western Kentucky. So if you're the Panthers, you take it. If you're Western Kentucky, you're looking for more. The first half of CUSA play for the Panthers is in the books here from the Ocean Bank Convocation Center. And with that, we welcome you back. A tight one at halftime at the Ocean Bank Convocation Center in the Conference USA opener for the FIU Panthers against Western Kentucky. Back in here at the broadcast table, Corey Brooks, Patrick Murray, and overall, Patrick, a really, really good first half for both teams. Incredibly competitive. Both squads love to shoot the three. They did so very, very well and got the 2-point game going as well.
It's been a really fun first half. Western Kentucky has really been attacking the paint a lot more than they usually do. 20 points in the paint. Meryl Abdel-Gawad, Maya Meredith have been going hard to the lane, creating offense that way, and also in the fast break game. And FIU has done a better job, especially in that second quarter, of being able to hit from the outside. There you see a deep shot from Macy Blevins as Western Kentucky is 2 of 5 from outside. And Meryl Abdel-Gawad has been so tough to stop. She's 4 of 4 from the field, 10 points on the day, but it's Maya Meredith that leads the way for the Hilltoppers with 11 points. And then FIU has done a better job offensively in the second quarter. Ariel Colon hitting that mid-range jumper, and FIU has gotten the 3-point game going as well, 44% from outside for the Panthers.
That shot there for Colon, the only make she had, only took 3 shots, did Ariel Colon. So probably expecting to see a little bit more of FIU's leading scorer come half number 2. But Ekpateta getting that putback was really the start of FIU committing to going to the paint in a way that we haven't seen very much of this year, but it's working for him right now.
Yeah, FIU, that is really what got the offense going, was starting to attack the paint, got a couple buckets underneath, and that started to open things up from beyond the arc with being able to drive and then kick out to an open shooter on the outside. And FIU had a really important run where they went on an 8-0 run over the span of just over a minute, and that got the Panthers back into this game. Promises to be a fun second half here in Miami. FIU going to try and come back. Western Kentucky looking to hold on. The Hilltoppers hoping to go 3-0 in CUSA play. FIU in search of one. And third quarter coming up in just a bit right here on CUSA TV. Second half ready to begin here in Panther territory. FIU looking to come back from down 4 against the Western Kentucky team that has not lost in CUSA play. There's the leadership for the FIU Panthers on the floor and from the bench. The veteran Kyla Nelson and the coach Jessica Burks-Wiley watching on as half 2 begins. Maya Meredith loving that transition play. Nearly started it for Western Kentucky. Ferrer Bernard. Ekpateta attacking. Just short on the rim, and the whistle ensuring the ball remains here. Western Kentucky going back to the 2-3 zone on defense to start the second half. FIU did a good job of moving the ball around and penetrating to try to attack it. We're going to have to continue to do that to come away with points in this possession.
The byproduct of all that FIU attack mentality is fouls. That is the third on Blevins, so she checks out 25 seconds into the third quarter. Marks the return of Jenna Walker, who's had her best game in over a month. Rocky looking to send it in, taken away by Maya Meredith.
Yeah, Meredith has done a really good job defensively today, coming up with a number of steals, and many of them she's turned into points on the other end.
Meredith not amongst the top 2 on steals on this Western Kentucky team. Hasn't mattered today. She's been brilliant as a part of this team that has earned a reputation for their pickpocketing abilities. Here's Meredith for 3 on the other end. Emerald ran it down in the corner and got basically sat on. A foul by Jalen Foster.
Yeah, Foster was coming over to try and get to it too and just couldn't stop her momentum. Runs into Ekpateta. You see it here. You know, Foster tried to guard her and put some pressure on her, but couldn't stop the momentum from her hustle.
Not the easiest thing to go from full speed to 0 like that, resulting in the Western Kentucky foul. They're second in the first 2 minutes. Kyla Nelson just tried to put up that floater. A rush shot there for Kyla Nelson. Good find by Meade. Meredith putting it into the key, right back to Adelgawad. Good hands by Rocky. Tie up, no, it's with the Panthers. Torres holding on to it. And a jump ball will keep the orange on this end of the floor.
Well, good defense there by FIU, creating all sorts of chaos in the paint. Look at the toughness there, just battling for the ball. Torres and Walker. Torres just couldn't get the ball out to one of her teammates to maintain possession for FIU.
It's an effort you love to see if you're rooting for the team from the 305, and they won themselves the possession arrow at the least. Panthers settle into zone. Nice move. That's 2 for Alexis Meade.
A nice move by Meade and a good job by Foster of drawing Torres out of the paint to clear the lane.
Offensive against Zeta Gonzalez. First foul of the day for Zeta, first for FIU here in half 2.
And here's an opportunity for Western Kentucky with FIU a little bit out of sorts offensively to start the half. An opportunity for Western Kentucky to start to broaden that lead and pull away a little bit if they can have a good offensive possession here.
Western Kentucky, one of the best scoring teams in Conference USA as well. Disruption by Torres, and they'll keep it where it's at.
Yeah, nice play by Torres. She's been fronting Foster so far in the second half, staying in front of her, trying to prevent that pass into the paint, and she did a good job of it there.
Didn't stop Maya Meredith that time. Great start to this third quarter for Maya Meredith.
Yeah, Meredith's been doing it on both ends of the floor. 4 steals on defense, has a game-high 13 points on offense. She's been tough to stop today.
Hayes trying to get it inside to Gonzalez. FIU fortunate to hold possession.
A good defense by Foster there, running around. FIU tried to run around all those screens, and Foster stuck with it.
Gonzalez for 3. Meredith stuffing the stat sheet. Good find. Here's Adelgawad. That marks the first miss today for Meryl Adelgawad. And it's not going to hurt Western all that badly as it's a Panther foul.
And the Hilltoppers have really slowed the pace offensively in this third quarter. And previously, they were really trying to run and go fast, get those fast break points. Now they're slowing it down, just trying to play the half court and move the ball around.
Greg Collins calls timeout. Let's see if he maintains that pace or urges his team to go a whole lot faster. It's a dangerous spot, Western Kentucky by 8. Back at it here in Miami. About 6 minutes to go. Delgawad, big for Western Kentucky as she has been all year. Right at the edge, a shot clock violation, so FIU won't get to push yet.
A nice possession there defensively from FIU. Good help defense to make sure Abdelgawad didn't have a clear lane to the basket, and they forced the shot clock violation.
Here's Hayes. Tanasia Hayes leaning in. Cologne has not taken a shot in this half. The leading scorer for FIU is Tanasia Hayes, though, scoring for the Panthers.
A good recovery by Hayes after she lost the basketball to get it back and put the shot up.
Good defense by FIU, trying their best to slow down Abdelgawad.
And Nelson has really done the best job of anybody that's tried to guard Abdelgawad today, of just being able to stay with her and stay in front of her and not let her get an easy look.
Meryl Abdelgawad, a top 20 scorer in the nation so far this season. And her first is good.
And Abdelgawad's averaging 26 points a game in conference play over these first 2 games of conference play. So to have her at 11 right now, I think FIU will take that.
I mentioned it earlier, but in the month of December, she averaged nearly 30 points. So off of that pace, although not by that much. Such an explosive player. Meryl Abdelgawad can get going real quick. Step out of bounds for Ariel Colon.
Yeah, those type of turnovers have really hurt FIU today. Just kind of the unforced turnovers. An errant pass here and there.
That leak out, even on an inbounds play, works out. Jalen Foster draws the foul on Kylan Nelson, who couldn't believe it, her third.
A little bit of a late whistle there, but Nelson was being pretty physical in her defense.
So Torres comes in, Nelson out. 2 players that could not be more different in their approach to the game. Foster no good on the first. Kyla Nelson thinking a little ball don't lie.
3 fouls now for Nelson. 15 minutes to go in the game. That's going to put FIU in a tough spot with their star player with 3 fouls.
Western had done a nice job from the free throw line up until there, an 0 of 2 trip. Hayes rejecting the screen and attacking. Meredith the other way. No makes from the field the last 2.5 for Western Kentucky. That streak's over.
You saw FIU's defense really collapse down inside to prevent Abdelgawad from driving to the basket, but she does a good job moving the ball to her teammates, and they find the open shooter in Walker.
Jenna Walker's best game was 8 points against Kentucky State. She's got 7 here. Other way, FIU will go to the line for 1 more.
Yeah, big play from Cologne, drawing the foul and making the basket. FIU able to find some space in the paint and get some offense going that way.
Cologne hoping to get going for FIU. Meryl Abdelgawad, such an important part of what Western Kentucky does, leading them in nearly every category, but she almost didn't come back to Bowling Green when the season paused due to the COVID-19 pandemic. She went back to Egypt, and while she was there, lost her father due to complications from COVID-19 and didn't want to leave her family in that spot. I think a feeling we can all understand at this point, but her father's passing wish was for her to come back to the U.S. and earn a degree and finish her career with WKU. She is doing that in a tremendous way here this season.
And what a fantastic season Abdelgawad is having. Certainly one of the front runners for Conference USA Player of the Year this season, and she's going to have an opportunity to join her former teammate Raneem El Jadawi and possibly playing pro ball in Egypt when her career is done.
Feels like almost a lock. One of the young stars for the Egyptian national team, the youngest player at the AfroBasket tournament. She still got into double figures. She's been doing this thing for a minute. On the flip side, Olivia Trice and company trying to get the basketball back. 3. Doesn't fall. That would have been a new high for Jenna Walker. Ekpateta finding Cologne. Cologne in rhythm. Draws the block. 2 more free throws for AC.
Good idea from Ekpateta, making that pass to her trailing teammate Cologne. Ekpateta just attacking the lane and then does a nice job of finding Cologne to draw that foul. And FIU's had a bit of a hard time getting the offense going in this third quarter, but they continue to get to the line, so if they can make their free throws, they can hang around in this game.
This will be attempt number 8 and 9 for FIU. A welcome reprieve for the Panthers. That last game you and I did together, Patrick, against Ave Maria, the Gyrenes spent what felt like half the game at the free throw line, over 20 attempts. A much more even margin this time.
Yeah, absolutely. That was something that FIU has cleaned up since that game, is all the fouls that they had and then also being able to attack more offensively and get to the line.
Western Kentucky tried to save it. There's Abdelgawad, but Ariel Cologne, the fast hands. Tanisha Hayes for 3.
Well, FIU had that 8-0 run in the second quarter that started with defense, with forcing turnovers on the defensive end. The Panthers really could use another one of those right now, and they're going back to the press to try and get it going.
This is the style that FIU wants to play. Fun, fast, and engaging. Abdelgawad off the mark.
Abdelgawad had all day to line that one up, and perhaps she took a little bit too long instead of just letting it go.
About 35% from downtown coming into today. That has been the one blemish on the stat sheet for Meryl Abdelgawad. 0 of 2 from downtown. McBride back into the game, relieving Foster. Gabby McBride came in only averaging about 8 minutes a game, but with some of the changes today, a shorter bench for Western Kentucky. McBride the beneficiary. Mead. Torres clears. Panthers want to go fast. It's Trice.
Yeah, Trice is in a little bit of a cold spell from three-point land, but we know that she's capable of getting hot from outside, so they're just going to let her keep shooting and work her way out of this funk.
Probably the streakiest shooter on this FIU team. Started slow, but came back. Really, really good game against BC. 14 points against Bethune. Torres defending strong on the inside to Hayes. Tanasia options to the left and right. FIU holding on.
Well, good spacing from FIU on that fast break. Gonzalez going right to the corner for the 3, and if Hayes had seen her, that may have been the better play to get that open 3 in the corner.
Instead, it's an open 3 for Olivia Trice on the inbound. Not quite yet. Good Close out by Zeta Gonzalez prevented that Jenna Walker shot. Abdel Gawad requests the screen, went the other way, nearly a takeaway for FIU's steal leader in Hayes. Mead takes baseline, blocked by Maria Torres. Shot clock violation.
A good defense from Torres. She's done a good job all day long of being that rim protector, helping out on drives. Gets her second block of the day. She's been a presence for FIU the last couple games, really stepping things up in the post.
Maria grows her block lead on this team. Even when she was coming off the bench, she did that. And now, to your point, in the starting lineup, the surefire 5 for Jessica Burks-Wiley. She's got it right now at the right wing. Abdel Gawad tried to solo initiate the break. Cologne hacked.
Good job by Cologne attacking off of that screen and not giving McBride time to get in position to be able to draw that foul.
Third on McBride, 2 more free throws come for FIU and Ariel Cologne.
Ariel Cologne on the line, shooting 2.
Both teams get freebies on fouls for the next 69 seconds. Collins going to try and put together a fourth quarter game plan for his team that has led the entire way. Nice skip. 3. Too strong from the wing. Rocky fights for it, and it is indeed FIU ball.
A tough break for Western Kentucky there because they had 2 players right under the rim, essentially battling each other for that rebound, and they weren't sure which one was going to take it, and that resulted in the turnover.
A 4-minute long scoring drought for Western Kentucky, putting FIU back within striking distance after the Hilltopper lead was 11 just a few minutes ago. Cologne buried it.
Big shot, big shot from Cologne to put FIU right back in this game.
Also set the Panthers up for a little 2-for-1. Save attempt, no. FIU can hold for the final shot, or they can go full speed. It's Olivia Trice. And McBride rebounds. Abdel Gawad at the helm of the counterattack. She's good, man. She's good.
How does she get that to fall? I mean, she's got 2 defenders on her, gets hacked, just kind of throws it up as she's going to the ground and gets it to go. Here's Abdel Gawad just attacking against 3 FIU defenders essentially, and look at that. Just as she's going to the ground, flipping it up. She's really an incredible player.
The odd thing is, with the usage rate she gets, you would think she would struggle later in the game. No, she's clutch. The 3 to win it in triple overtime against Charlotte. SportsCenter top 10 plays. Rocky saw it poked away. Torres with 4 to go. It's Torres' shot short. Travel. FIU will get .9.
Panthers ball.
What do you have for a catch and shoot?
Yeah, you got to find a way to run someone off of a screen and just get a quick tap in or a quick shot.
This is a volleyball play. Zeta got it off. Oh, that was good.
That's about the best look you can hope for in that situation. Almost went in.
Process over result. The process was good, and it has FIU down 6, headed to the final. A really good CUSA opener for the Panthers, with an exciting conclusion on the other side as Meryl Abdel-Gawad is getting it done for Western Kentucky once again. Both teams looking to get into a rhythm here. Western Kentucky by 6. The main headline in this one, Patrick, 40 turnovers just about combined between these two. 20 for Western Kentucky, 17 for FIU. It feels like whichever of these teams holds on to the ball in this fourth quarter is going to win it.
That's a really good point. Both teams are very aggressive defensively, like to try to force those steals and those turnovers, and that's happened so far. And both these offenses were really stagnant in the third quarter. See if they pick things up here in the fourth.
Gonzalez was trapped and found a way out. Rocky with time and space. Almost.
Got the open look that they were looking for, just didn't quite fall.
A couple of those in a row for the Panthers. Back in those Miami Vice jerseys for the start of conference play. Looking to heat up, emulate the NBA team on which they are based. Inside, tough take for Alexis Mead.
A good defense by Nelson to stay in front.
Meredith buried it.
A good job by Western Kentucky of just battling through that possession, getting the second chance and finding the open shooter. And Meredith is really having a big game. 7 of 11 from the field, 16 points, a game high.
How about Maya Meredith in conference play? You mentioned the 16 today, 14 against La Tech in their last game on 50% from the field, and 24 points against Southern Miss. She's been incredible.
She is really emerging as a big-time contributor for Western Kentucky here in conference play, and the Hilltoppers are really interesting offensively. You mentioned all the turnovers. For a team that turns it over so much, they're also very efficient shooting the basketball. And so they had 29 turnovers their last game against Louisiana Tech, shot it well enough to still win that game, so they can overcome some of the freshman mistakes that they make sometimes.
Hey, you look at the points per game, and Western Kentucky's right there at the top of Conference USA. A factor of that pace, they're just getting up so many shots total that even if a few of them never actually come together because they didn't get the ball down to the basket, they continue to just put up points. Mead backs it out, guarded by Gonzalez. Pick and roll game for McBride. Doesn't come together. Zeta pushing with pace. Kyla, corner. Lid on the basket right now for the FIU Panthers.
Yeah, that's the case. They're getting some open looks, but they're just not falling.
Abdelgawad can't convert either. Her first miss from two-point land in this game. Whistle against Gabby McBride.
Well, good idea by Gonzalez just to use her speed and attack the lane. She had Torres open, tried to get the pass to her, but got fouled before that happened. And not much has been going well for FIU offensively over the last few minutes in terms of shots falling, but drawn a couple fouls here and there to try and keep things going.
Each team with one here in the fourth. AC for 3.
And Cologne, time and time again, has come up with some big shots when FIU's needed it.
Oh, how about Maria Torres? Denying the Conference USA points leader.
Wow, really strong defense from Torres. Moving her feet to stay in front, getting a hand up to reject that shot. That's a big-time play.
Maria Torres, step for step in phase. And the hack against FIU and Zeta Gonzalez.
Foul number 0, Zeta Gonzalez. Her second, team second.
Maria Torres has played more minutes than anybody on the FIU side. And despite those tired legs, doing a great job here in the fourth quarter. They need her. Whole lot of FIU bodies on defense. Meredith found a bit of space, and it's all she needed.
Wow. FIU played so tough defensively that whole possession. Then Meredith just uses her teammate to give her a little screen and create some space and pops a big shot.
Tanasia hanging on. Cologne slowing things up. Shot clock, plenty of time for FIU on the reset. Ekpateta Draws the foul on Gabby McBride. That is the 5th. Gabby McBride is done.
Foul on number 42.
Well, already a short bench for Western Kentucky today, and you see Meredith with a really clutch shot, just getting enough space to hit that 3 late in the shot clock. But Western Kentucky with 3 players out today, and now you have another out after McBride fouls out, so a short bench for the Hilltoppers over these final 7 minutes.
McBride's defense, her premium skill set at 6'3", so that opens up the post a little bit here for FIU. Let's see how they leverage it. It's Colon for 3 again, off back iron. Second chance. Every part but the bottom.
That's been the case for FIU this whole quarter, it seems like. Nothing's fallen.
Tanasia Hayes earns FIU a 3rd chance to cut into a 3-score deficit. Hayes into a double, found Zeta on the baseline. FIU doesn't get a 4th chance.
That was a really nice pass from Hayes to create that shot for Gonzalez, but again, it's just another shot for FIU that looked like it was going to go down that didn't.
Seeing Alexis Mead just staring, Greg Collins try and draw something up. His team is in control. The decisive segment of the CUSA opener for the Panthers on the other side on CUSA TV. Back at the bank, Corey Brooks, Patrick Murray, joined by our production crew today, Chris Santiago, KJ Kirkland, Yasamil Rolo, and Kat Rodriguez. Western Kentucky in control here, and now Patrick, you're Jessica Burks-Wiley. What are you telling your team here as we're going to decide this game in the next few minutes?
Well, it starts with defense. Keep playing hard on the defensive end. It was a really tough last defensive possession for FIU because they played so hard, so tough defensively right to the final second of that shot clock, and then Maya Meredith finds a way to hit a late 3 and get the points for Western Kentucky. But just keep that tenacity up defensively, try to create offense off that defense, and keep shooting. Keep shooting on offense. FIU has gotten some good looks. Things just haven't been falling, but that's not going to last forever. Play tough D, keep shooting.
On the flip side for Western, they have done the job. 50% from the field, 19 of 38 for the Hilltoppers. Not going to lose too many games when you make every other shot you put up. Mead knocked up by Zeta Gonzalez, held on to by Foster. Foster turns and fires, shot clock violation.
And there's that good aggressive defense from FIU. You saw several traps that were able to, even if you didn't get the steal, FIU at least took some time off that shot clock with those traps and create some problems for Western Kentucky, and then eventually it leads to the shot clock violation.
Each possession gaining added significance now for FIU. Not in must-score territory, but starting to get close. They turn to Colon. 2 more free throws for Ariel Colon. 6 and 7 coming up.
Good job by Colon of attacking the basket. And if he can't get his shot, you get to the line. And FIU is going to have to make sure to hit its free throws down the stretch here. Colon doing a nice job of trying to get to that paint, and Foster just late coming over on her help defense and leading to the foul.
First one's good. Colon has that skill set at the highest level of anybody on the FIU team, that lateral quickness and ability to get to the bucket. And with Gabby McBride fouled out, Colon almost certainly gains added significance here in this final 5. Meredith has been incredible today, and that continues.
And the pressure defense worked against FIU that time because Western Kentucky did a good job of moving the ball quickly to the middle of the floor to Meredith, and then Nelson was left trying to guard 2 players at once near the basket, and it didn't work out for FIU.
That press has really lived at the extreme against Western Kentucky today. It either forces a turnover within a couple of seconds, or Western Kentucky gets that leak out and scores right away. Nineteenth turnover of the proceedings for FIU. the top of Delgawad. You don't usually see her miss that catch.
Yeah, that's one that she's usually going to make, just a strange play for Western Kentucky, but that's an opportunity for FIU after the turnover. Now they got a chance to try to get back into it. Got to be safe with the basketball and protect the basketball, but also find a way to create offense.
Both teams looking to generate any type of offense here in this fourth quarter. 4 turnovers for Western Kentucky the last few minutes and no makes from the field for FIU in about that same time. Well, FIU still won't have a make, but 2 free throws for Zeta Gonzalez.
Gonzalez has done a good job of figuring out how to attack Western Kentucky's zone when they go to the 2-3. She's found that seam along the wing to cut her way to the middle, and even though she hasn't gotten too many buckets, 2 of 6 from the field, she's gotten to the line several times.
She'll have 6 free throw attempts when it's all said and done, and a really uncharacteristic day for her. A little over 70% coming in, and now 1 of 5. Meredith, too far in front of Jalen Foster. There's that fronting in the post you were talking about earlier, Patrick. That's been huge for FIU.
Yeah, that was a good play to prevent that pass after Western Kentucky was able to break the press.
Trying to find Ekpateta on the other side, and FIU responds in kind on a miscue.
Yeah, all sorts of turnovers for both teams today. Western Kentucky actually has more, but FIU has had its fair share as well with 20 now.
Both teams still adjusting to the speed of conference play a little bit. Zeta Gonzalez tried to cross that in off of her foot, but it is a kick ball.
Substitution for the Panthers, Maria Torres checks in.
Maria Torres got some of her short minutes of rest in this game. She's back in now.
Torres has been really important for FIU defensively, protecting that rim.
Delgawad's battling Ekpateta underneath. Three. Clangs off, and there is Torres right away, making her impact felt.
A good box out by Torres, staying in front of Foster to get that rebound.
Tanasia Hayes dishing wide open. Kyla Nelson.
Good job by FIU. Hayes driving the lane to draw the defense, making a nice kick-out pass to the open Nelson.
Hayes has more assists than anyone on the FIU team. That's why. Five points of separation. 3 minutes left. Take away Ekpateta. Emerald is fouled.
Good job by FIU of switching off of those screens and sticking with Abdelgawad. And here's that pass from Hayes, driving the lane. Nelson spotting up in the corner for the open 3 to keep the Panthers in it late.
On the line for your Panthers, Emerald Ekpateta.
Officials will gather briefly here. Both teams will head to the benches.
Official time.
And the officials are going to look at something here on the foul.
It'll be an official review. We'll give you the results once it is announced. For now, though, it's a 5-point game with 3 to go. FIU is going to have a chance to cut into that lead, make this a 1-score game, as Emerald Ekpateta is going to shoot her first free throws. We came into this quarter talking about whoever holds onto the ball is going to win. That's probably held true here. This has been a frustrating offensive showing for both teams here in this final 10.
A lot of turnovers, and here's another look at the foul. As Abdelgawad just sticking her hand in, going for the ball, but gets some of the arm, and I don't really see anything there that if they're looking for a possible flagrant or anything like that, I don't see anything that they could turn that into. So it should be Ekpateta at the line for 2.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
And that's a nice play by Ekpateta of switching off the screen to stay in front of Abdelgawad and create that turnover, and then get to the foul line on the opposite end. And this will be a really important pair of free throws for Ekpateta to have a chance to make this a one-possession game. And you were talking about the turnovers before we got into the replays. 6 turnovers for Western Kentucky in the last 4.5 minutes, and that has given FIU the opportunity to stay in this game. The Panthers have had their fair share of frustrating turnovers, but they can erase those now by making these free throws, continuing to play good defense, and stay in this game.
Western Kentucky has led the entire time, but FIU getting close. About as close as it's been. The official review is over. And it will be 2 free throws for Emerald Ekpateta. The only thing I can think of is because Ekpateta did go down hard, they must have been seeing if there was flagrant, but I'm with you, nothing even close to that.
Right, yeah, I don't think there was anything on that replay that could give you any indication of a flagrant.
Emerald's first, buried. Most important free throw for FIU. Doesn't go. Still plenty of time, but that would have helped.
And now this defensive possession becomes even more important for FIU. Don't have to foul yet, just need to stop.
Torres trapping up against the timeline. Opens up some things underneath for Western Kentucky, and they take advantage with Macy Blevins.
That's just a nice play by Blevins. FIU did everything it could, rotated over and helped defense, and Blevins made the shot over 2 Panthers.
Hayes goes to Nelson. Nelson wants the 3. And a Western Kentucky basket here would make things very difficult for the Panthers.
Yeah, this is a big possession.
Torres matched up with the point guard Mead. They switch it. Good save by Meredith. Underneath, it's Abdelgawad. 2 free throws from Merrill Abdelgawad.
Yeah, Hayes was over there near the sideline trying to save that ball from going out of bounds and really had to sprint to recover and defend Abdelgawad, and that resulted in the foul.
2 shots.
First. Yep. Merrill's a perfect 6 of 6. There's lucky number 7. Now it's a must-score trip down the floor for FIU. A timeout called by Jessica Burks-Wiley of the 32nd variety. Western Kentucky has really controlled this rivalry. They're 32-10 against FIU. The Panthers have really fought here, but you know they want to execute here in this final minute 41 to give themselves a chance against WKU.
Yeah, and Jessica Burks-Wiley taking that timeout because she knows how important this possession is going to be. That was a big 3 from Maya Meredith late in the shot clock that has really been pivotal in this game. And FIU trying to make sure they get the best look they can on this possession because they know it's going to be so important to be able to score here. Try and get it back to a 2-possession game. 3 possessions down right now, and it's been some tough possessions for FIU defensively where they've played well throughout the shot clock, and then Meredith comes up with a big three at the end, or a few different things like that. And so the Panthers going to have to find a way offensively to hit some shots to get back into this game.
There's been a number of possessions on both ends for FIU. Everything's been right but the ending. You had a great shot attempt that didn't fall, or the defense was brilliant for 99% of the shot clock. Torres, nice spin. That's another example of it, but Maria Torres puts the second home.
A really nice effort from Torres with that nice spin move. Couldn't get it to go, but then fights for the rebound.
Abdel Gawad, a swift retort.
Just coming back quickly down the other end. Abdel Gawad really pushing the pace and making sure she gets to the rim and just erases Torres' shot.
Hayes losing the basketball, picked up by Ekpiteta. Timeout, FIU. 2 threes separate the Panthers from Western Kentucky. Panthers don't have to foul yet, Patrick, but you have to defend all the way through the shot clock on this one.
Absolutely, and here's that move from Torres. Look at that spin move, but that just couldn't get it to fall. But she does a good job of staying with it, fighting for that rebound, getting the second chance points. And I like the timeout call there by Jessica Burks-Wiley, because we saw the previous possession. Western Kentucky pushed it as quick as they could after the made shot. Abdel Gawad got an easy layup. But now Jessica Burks-Wiley calls the timeout, and that's going to allow FIU to set its defense. I imagine they're going to try and pressure here to force Western Kentucky into a turnover and be aggressive. We'll see what FIU comes out with.
Abdel Gawad and company have been brilliant. One of the best offensive teams in terms of points per game. 57's not a bad number facing FIU, but they need 6 to catch up.
Under 1 minute remaining.
Abdel Gawad, the Hail Mary to Foster, and an FIU foul.
And that almost looked like a football play with Foster as a wide receiver and Nelson as a safety coming over from the middle of the field to try and break up a pass.
Yeah.
And she tried to avoid the contact, almost made a nice play to break it up, but they just kind of bumped knees, and that'll send or give Western Kentucky the ball back.
Side out of bounds play here for Western Kentucky. Great over the shoulder throw on the post route. Sets up Western Kentucky with a fresh shot clock. Both teams will also shoot free throws on any infractions. There's one against Cologne.
And Abdel Gawad, really an outstanding offensive player, but just 69% shooter from the free throw line. So not bad for FIU to send her to the line. Usually a player like her would be around the 80% range.
She has not missed today. That continues.
Yeah, she is stepping it up from the free throw line today for sure. 7 of 7 now.
Something about that Miami weather. Career highs last year, and she is flawless from the charity stripe today. Western Kentucky back up by 8. FIU now in search of something special here on CUSA TV. The WKU Hilltoppers looking to move to 3-0 in conference play and make it a 5-game winning streak. What does FIU have out of the timeout? It's Cologne for 3. An unkind roll amidst the Hilltoppers. FIU foul on Tanasia Hayes.
Yeah, FIU has just had a hard time getting shots to fall today. 36% from the floor, 6 of 22 from 3, and we've mentioned it several times. They've had some open looks that just haven't gone down, and that a contested shot, a good defense from Western Kentucky, but just not enough offensively from the Panthers today.
You saw the 2 new big names on campus there, the new athletic director Scott Carr and Coach Mack. He takes a phone call. Might be a recruit, you never know these days. Everything's starting to come together for the FIU football team, and overall athletic department, a lot of change here in Miami.
Yeah, I expect Coach Mack to be on the phone an awful lot between now and middle of February.
A lot of spots to fill on that FIU football team. Well, not as many as it could have been, bringing back a key returner in Tyrese Chambers.
That was the most important recruiting job so far by Mike McIntyre, and keeping around a really talented wide receiver.
And we have a timeout.
That is our FIU football minute here amidst the women's basketball game. Scott Carr loving it, trying to power his team on. Down 10. Western Kentucky closing in on 3 in a row in CUSA. Kyla inbounds to Cologne. Final possession with the shot clock on. It's Ekpateta. WKU gathers, marches down the floor and prepares for their next run of play. They'll continue their CUSA road swings at Rice and North Texas before returning home against the Florida contingent, FAU and these FIU Panthers.
Well, that'll be a really interesting matchup with Western Kentucky and North Texas, the top 2 teams in Conference USA in scoring offense. And the Hilltoppers have really done a nice job offensively today, overcoming 26 turnovers to shoot 51% from the floor, and Maya Meredith and Meryl Delgawad leading the way with 21 points each.
On the flip side, for FIU, they will remain in Panther territory next week. UAB and the preseason favorite Middle Tennessee await these Panthers of FIU. Tanasia Hayes' jumper to Cologne. AC was blocked. Meredith gathers, and that is fitting with how Maya Meredith has played. 21 points. She ties Abdelgawad for a game high. Both of them brilliant, and 2 of the biggest reasons why Western Kentucky has won 5 games in a row and remains undefeated in CUSA play. FIU still amidst one of their best starts in a long time, moving to 8-4. A good one to open up Conference USA play. It took a little longer than it was supposed to, but FIU fights hard, falling to WKU. Next broadcast coming up next week, UAB in the house to play FIU. My broadcast partner, Patrick Murray, as well as KJ Kirkland, Chris Santiago, Yasmin Rolo, and Kat Rodriguez, and everyone here in Panther territory. I'm Corey Brooks. We'll talk to you next week.